I introduce to you Mrs. Christina Jackson, the Acting Consul General of the United States Embassy. May I invite you to address the public here in the church.
Good afternoon, Mayor Poels, residents of Nijmegen, survivors, relatives of the victims, and everyone who is gathered here today. Thank you for inviting me to join this commemoration. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the tragic loss of lives here. And even though so many years have passed, the pain still resonates. The survivors carry their scars and memories. Spouses, children, parents, and friends carry memories of the fallen. Contemporaries carry recollections of the aftermath. In turn, these memories are passed to subsequent generations, and so the hurt endures. On behalf of the United States and our people, we extend our deepest condolences. And as painful as these memories and events are, there are important reasons to gather and commemorate. Indeed, as time passes, such gatherings become even more important because we must carry the memories into the future. Why? Because these mothers, fathers, friends, and children died in the chaos of a war that was unleashed by tyranny and evil. These victims were casualties in a struggle against evil. We cannot forget these threats to liberal democracy, and remembering the victims here will remind us of those threats. Several months after the bombing on this spot, liberation came to this town. The Allied forces that had fought and struggled in the air overhead arrived here. In a great gamble to shorten the suffering of the war, called Operation Market Garden, Allied forces parachuted from the sky to secure a path to victory. The gamble did not pay out as planned, but it did liberate places like Nijmegen. And with liberation arrived hope. Hope that this was the last time the world would face such dangers. And yet, the brutal invasion of Ukraine, just 2,000 kilometers from where we gather, reminds us that hope is no guarantee. Every generation has hoped that their sons and daughters would never face these dangers, yet still they come. And while the last decades in Western Europe have produced a remarkable period of peace, world events remind us that freedom is not free. Aware of the threats to our liberal democracies, we should remember our shared values. Dutch and Americans, we are united in our belief in liberal democracies. We are united in our belief in the rule of law. We are united in our support of our Ukrainian partners who are fighting for their freedom and their way of life against an adversary that willfully distorts the history and memory of World War II to justify its wanton aggression and assault on the post-war international order. As nations, we value human life and wrestle the chaos of war to protect the helpless and to be responsible in our use of force. Yet our shared beliefs are no guarantor of the destiny we want. Instead, we must turn our hope into action. We must deter war to avoid its great tragedy. We must deter war to have a world where diplomacy and law give us the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We must be ready so that deterrence succeeds, and thereby prepared if our opponent will not be deterred. Together, we have succeeded for decades in protecting Western Europe from the ravages of war. We have succeeded in having multiple generations enjoy peace to the point that many could be excused for taking it as a given. But today, as we reflect on the loss that happened around us 80 years ago, we must, more than ever, cling fast to our common ideals, cling fast to each other, support our friends, and be prepared.